Granny. One of the most popular mobile games of the last century is not without its flaws. The trilogy of games that originally released in 2017 has a very strange development oversight. In the original Granny game, there's a sauna in the basement of her house. This is intended to trap Granny, the main antagonist of the game, by luring her in with noise, locking the door and turning on the steam. This gives the player a set amount of time to roam around the map without Granny pursuing us. But we can actually use this mechanic to trap the player forever. This unintended coding oversight is known as a softlock, a state in a video game where the game remains running and playable, but there is no way to progress further and beating the game becomes impossible, forcing us to reload an earlier save or restart the game. So let's go back just a second. In Granny, when you open a door, the game allows the player to walk directly through the door model while it's in its opening animation. This is so that when Granny is pursuing us, we don't get stuck in the closing or opening door and get an unfair game over. And the sauna door is no different. If we stand right in the center of the door frame while the door is opened, we can shut it and clip through the middle of said door. From here, we can adjust our camera so we're ever so slightly in view of the sauna lock, and press E to activate it. If we move in any direction while clipped inside of a door, our character model will be pushed outside of it, as the game will register the door as shut and re-establish the invisible wall, disallowing us to phase back through it. So if we simply walk inside the sauna after locking it from the clipped position, we're now completely stuck. Sometimes items can spawn inside the sauna, which would usually allow us to make noise and lure Granny over. But even if we attempt to lure Granny over to kill us, she cannot unlock and enter the sauna, nor can she attack us through the sauna door. This leaves us fully softlocked, forcing us to restart the game. It's important to note as well that this softlock does work in the original mobile version of Granny, using the exact same technique. But for this video, I will be mainly focusing on the PC releases of these games. I definitely will also include more mobile softlocks and mention if they work on both mobile and PC. In Granny 2, there is no sauna, but there is a locking mechanism that can get us some similar results. Within Granny 2's 66 unique items, we can find the door lock. This item can be used on any door in the game to give the player an advantage over Granny, locking the door behind you for a set amount of time depending on the difficulty you're playing, leaving her unable to follow you to the next room. The problem is, after the time's up, it falls off, leaving any area we locked or trapped ourselves in open again. This is for every door in the game, except the security door. Usually, you would need to obtain the security key in order to open this area of the map, and passage through would allow you to access the helicopter ending and some key items. Although the door lock will eventually detach from the security door, the game will proceed to re-lock the security door once closed, requiring us to use the security key again to open it. So if we simply throw the security key inside of the door after unlocking it, place the door lock and wait for it to detach, the security door will be permanently locked as we have lost access to the key required to reopen it. Now, while this does prevent us from getting the helicopter ending, which is located on the roof of the building, and requires passage through the security door to complete, and could potentially block off key items for the other two endings, this could be still worked around if you got lucky with the item spawns in other accessible portions of the map. But we can work around this softlock prevention very easily. Granny 2 uses the same door mechanics as its predecessor, and we once again need to perform the door clip. We need to gather every single item in the game accessible to us, throw them one by one inside of the security office, perform the door clip yet again, place the lock on the inside of the door, and walk out. This leaves us completely trapped, unable to unlock important doors, lower the water level in the moat, start the boat, or open the front door. Since there's no way back inside the locked room and items don't respawn to their original location even after death, we were completely softlocked, forcing us to restart from night 1. I do want to add, we don't have to do the door clip here either. We could just put it on the outside and keep the door lock, as it would be useless to us. And we could lock the door from the inside, climb up the ladder and come back outside to the main area of the map, but I just wanted to do the glitch, so there's a few ways you can pull this one off. While the development of Granny 3 has done a significantly better job at preventing softlocks, there are still some pretty insane and incredibly overlooked ways to pull them off. Granny 3 has a small portion of gameplay located on the roof of the house, and up there are 3 chimneys. One of these is key to progressing the game and requires you to light a fire to ward off a crow and collect an item. but the other 2 are completely unused and empty. I actually found this softlock accidentally by attempting to essentially fast travel items I wanted to save for later down the chimneys. Hopefully they would land in the respective fireplace below for me to collect later. But after throwing the key item down and assuming it worked, as I couldn't see the item anymore, I arrived at the corresponding fireplace to grab the item and finish the game. But the item wasn't there. When I investigated further, I realised that there was a cutoff on the chimney allowing items to be thrown in, fall for a while, and then be blocked off, leaving them impossible to retrieve. While this does only work on smaller items, as they won't protrude past the chute allowing us to recollect them, that's really all we need to softlock the game. For each ending, we only really need a few things to complete them, and if we just throw one item from each corresponding ending down the chimney, we've permanently softlocked ourselves. I want to mention that in all these games, there is a softlock prevention in place for these kind of coding oversights. Usually if you throw an item out of bounds, the game will detect this and the lost item will respawn at a set location on the map. In Granny 1 it's by the well, in Granny 2 it's by the boat, and in Granny 3 it's in the front garden. All lost items will teleport to these specific locations once it hits an out of bounds barrier. But in Granny 3, the chimney apparently doesn't count. And this will only work on that specific chimney, as the other one has an invisible wall blocking the chute off. So why doesn't the other one? Who knows, it's Granny. Since Granny 1 also has this out of bounds softlock prevention in place, we should find it difficult to pull something off similar here, right? Well, no. When the developers of Granny were creating the game, they forgot to add solid walls. This allows us to simply walk directly up to any wall in the game and drop our item. This will clip it out to the other side of that wall instantly. This can be okay as it can simply go to the next room or out to the garden. But if we find a good position, we can of course lose that item forever. This tactic is actually used in Granny speedruns to quickly retrieve the screwdriver from this shelf, which would usually require a weapon to shoot down. If we go to the adjacent room and throw the vase through the wall at a specific area, it will hit the screwdriver, dropping it to the floor below and allowing us to pick it up. But regardless, the hitbox for what the game considers out of bounds is really badly modelled. Throwing items through this part of the wall will force them to respawn by the well in the garden, but if we move a foot to the right, they won't trigger the hitbox and just never come back. So all we need to do is get a key item from the sewer ending, the car ending, and the door ending, and lob them through any wall without this out of bounds collision box present, and we're completely softlocked. Again, dying in Granny will not reset the items, and there is absolutely no way of beating the game, forcing us to yet again start over from night 1. In Granny 2, there's a portion of the map where Granny keeps her family homunculus, a staple in any nuclear family I'm told. But in order to access the area where it resides, we have to use the blue wrench on this bolt, which lowers the water level, allowing us access. Once we get through using the blue wrench, we can blast the homunculus and access whatever items have spawned in its nest. If we accidentally drop the wrench in the moat before getting a chance to use it, the game will detect this and respawn it through the pipe at the boat, which if you remember is where all out of bounds items in Granny 2 respawn. Even with this softlock prevention in place, there's a very easy way around it. Thrown items in the game retain some of the player's momentum, meaning if we get a slight running start, we can lob the item directly over the moat, right into the homunculus's nest, leaving them completely unobtainable, as entering the water will kill the player. So if we grab every key item needed to finish the game, throw them over to the other side of the water, we just have to throw the blue wrench to completely eliminate any possibility of ever retrieving them, and ultimately soft-locking ourselves. Granny 3 is no exception when it comes to the lack of solid walls in the map. There are many areas we can throw items through in this game, but due to the map design, most will lead to either outside the house or to another room. And since the outside area is surrounded by yet another moat, there's no real walls or way of getting them out of bounds. So we're going to have to be a little bit more creative. Outside the house, there's a shed that the player can unlock by obtaining the shed key. This gives us access to the generator and allows us to achieve one of the endings. Inside the shed is also a locker with some potentially useful items. If we grab some key items from each ending, we can make our way to the back of the shed while it's still locked and throw the items right through the wall into that locker. This is a much more particular clip to pull off, as there is a lot of solid objects on the other side of the wall, preventing us from throwing stuff fully in. But if we get the right position, it's by no means difficult to pull off. Once we have our key items safely thrown in, we can then obtain the shed key and just get rid of it by throwing it into the back of the shed. This leaves the shed completely inaccessible and every ending in the game unavailable, and permanently softlocks our playthrough of Granny 3. This is one of my favourite softlocks in the Granny series just because of how simple it is. In the living room in Granny 2, there's a lamp that's in the corner near a door. Since the lamp has physics, we can push it over and manoeuvre it to be as close to the door frame as possible. Once we have it lined up, we need to spam crouch while walking forward to try and get on top of it. Once here, we can carefully stand up and slowly walk to the very top without letting the lamp fall over. If the lamp does fall over before we can reach the top, we just need to walk to the bottom of this weird World War II turret bunker they have in the garden to reload the lamp to its original position. If we get back to the top of the lamp and then jump off, we get the usual fall damage animation that plays in all 3 games, but strangely, we never get up. We're permanently stuck in this position and are unable to move. The game hasn't crashed, we're just paralysed. This mainly works in practice mode as Granny is not present to kill us after falling, and the setup and execution of this glitch actually takes some time to get right, and with Granny roaming around it would be much more difficult to pull off. The mobile version of Granny, while mostly identical, does have different parameters and physics that allow for more softlocks than the PC version would. And if we go to version 1.3 from 2018, we'll find in the update notes that the playhouse and garden area had just been added. Wow. When we make our way to this outside area, nothing seems unusual, until we crouch at the facing window of the playhouse, look in this specific area by the window frame, and stand up. This clips us inside the playhouse, an area usually inaccessible without the playhouse key. From here, we just cannot move at all. We're completely stuck, and even Granny can't get to us to put us out of our misery, leaving us again completely softlocked. As I said before, some softlocks that work in the mobile version just won't work on the Steam release of the game, and one of the most prevalent of these softlocks is in Granny 2, and it involves grenades. If we make our way through the game normally, getting all the necessary items to open the front door, we can bring one of 3 grenades spawned in the map to the exit. If we drop the grenade and turn to trigger the exit cutscene quick enough, the winning cutscene will play and the grenade will go off. And since our character model stays where it was for the cutscene, the grenade will just kill us. We can even hear the audio mixing with the cutscene. This causes the character to respawn in Granny's house, and from here the game fully breaks down. Still have the ability to move, interacting with items no longer works, including opening and closing doors. And without any items or the ability to pick them up and lure Granny over to get the door for us, this leaves us trapped in the spawn area of the game forever. The final softlock I have for you today is pretty simple. In Granny 1, we can make our way to the kitchen and attempt to do the door clip on this blue cabinet. If done correctly, the door clip will fail and will be pushed halfway out of the map. From here, it's easy to make our way further down the gap left by the door, but for some reason, impossible to get back out. While it is easy to make our way back here, getting stuck does take a lot of time and perseverance, as you can usually close the door from this glitch position, or crouch spam your way out. But there is certain positions that leave us completely stuck, similar to the Playhouse softlock, making it so that we can never complete the game. This softlock also works in the mobile version of Granny using the exact same method. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any game recommendations, please do leave them in the comments. This Granny video was suggested by these beautiful people, and please be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thanks, bye.